So hello everyone, my name is Malik Arslan Nisar and I am a TA for the course Introduction to Mechanical Vibrations, and today we are in the week 6 of the tutorial sessions. So today we'll be solving some sample problems which would help you in doing the assignments. So we can start maybe. Is my screen visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so since today we have that issue of two sessions clashing, I would tell you that the assignment which was from previous year, okay, for the week 6, more or less all the questions are same. What is the point? Basically, you have been given a system, okay, a multiple degree of freedom system, basically a 2 degree of freedom system, and you have to find the natural frequencies. Yeah, more or less the questions are same, that you have to find the natural frequency of the system or either the amplitude ratios, which is again basically the same procedure. You will find the natural frequencies, after that you will find the amplitude, right? And you can take the amplitude ratios, or yeah, so basically some questions just the wording is changed, that you have to find the modes of vibration, but you know again that it's the same thing. If you find x1 and x2 for a particular system, you know the modes of vibration, and you can tell the shape of the some questions they have been asking the mode shapes of the system. So basically the concept is same, we will follow the same procedure for every question. Okay, just the wording will be different, but ultimately you have to understand that what the question is asking from you, right? So you must have also gone through the question. So, Amit, have you attended this session previous? This session for week 6?
Yes, ma'am. I have attended.
Okay. So, uh, let me then start with a question. I would want you to solve along with me, okay? So that
Sure, ma'am.
neither the time is wasted, and you can practice also, and you can actually check also that how much understanding you have gained of the particular topic, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So, is my screen visible?
Visible, ma'am.
Okay, wait a second. I don't know, it's not visible on my screen. Okay, yeah. So the question is find the natural frequencies of the following system when K1 is equal to K2 is equal to K3 is equal to 1 and M1 and M2 are 1 kg. So we have been given a system, okay, I will quickly draw the system. So it is something like that. We have a spring K1, to it we have attached a mass M1, okay, then we have a spring K2, then to that we have attached a mass M2, and then there is a spring K3, okay. And obviously you can see here we have two masses, so it's a 2 degree of freedom system, right? X1 and X2 we have here. Now it's telling that K1 is equal to K2 is equal to K3, okay, and basically the stiffness is 1, and about the masses also, M1 is equal to M2 and is equal to 1 kg. Now you have to find the natural frequencies, right? So basically you have to find omega n1 and omega n2, right? So can you tell me how to approach this question, those of whom you have joined? How will we solve this system? You might have already done the questions.
Yes, ma'am. There is a standard practice. First, we have to write the force balance equation,
Yes.
and then once the equations has been formulated, then we assume that x1 is equal to x1 sine omega and t,
Yeah.
and then we solve these equations.
Yeah, that is one way. So I will show you a different way, not different basically, just we can do the calculations with a matrix notation instead of proposing the solution as x is equal to x sine omega t and solving the equations. We can write down the equations in matrix form and then we can find the answer. So you will basically get, I will show you both the methods in two questions. Okay, so you can try along with me. Okay, so you can start doing this question as well. So first we draw the free body diagram. Okay, so here we have mass m1. Okay, this now let's assume that x2 is greater than x1, obviously, right? Now when x2 is greater than x1, this k2 spring, it will get stretched and it will apply a force k2 on this mass. It will apply k2 into x2 minus x1, basically the relative displacement. Okay, k2 into x2 minus x1, and similarly it will apply a force because it's getting extended, so it will try to compress itself. So on this mass it will apply the same magnitude of force but in the opposite direction, right? Somewhat like this. So first I am drawing the FBD for the first mass. So here we can see that the force will be K2 into x2 minus x1. Now this K1 spring is just attached to M1, so it will apply a force in the direction opposite to the motion of this mass. Okay, so it will be K1 into x1. Please tell me if I am going too fast or too slow. Okay, you can tell me that. So this will be x1. Now when I write the FBD, so we know that for this mass m1 x1 double dot, okay, it will be what? Since we have assumed that x1 is in this direction, so x1 double dot, that is the acceleration, also is in this direction only. So this k1 x1 will be negative because it's opposite to this, and then this will be positive, k2 into x2 minus x1, right? Now when we simplify this, it will be m1 x1 double dot is equal to k1 minus k1 x1 plus k2 x2 and minus k2 x1. Okay, now we can shift these terms to the left hand side. It will be m1 x1 double dot plus we can combine these x1 and x1 terms, so we can write k1 plus k2 x1 and then minus k2 x2. This will be equal to 0. So we have gotten the equation for mass 1. Now similarly for mass 2, okay, this will be our m2. For this mass, this force will be the same but in the opposite direction. So it will be k2 into x2 minus x1, right? And since this is going towards this side, this spring will apply a force to the left side, okay, because the spring is getting compressed. So this k, it will be k3 x2. Okay, this will be the FBD for mass 2. So here we can write it as again we have assumed that acceleration is in this direction. Okay, so we will write m2 x2 double dot is equal to, both the forces are in opposite direction to this, so we will write it as minus k2 x2 minus x1 and minus k3 x2. Okay, any problem till now? I think that this is pretty simple. This is the
Yes,
same
ma'am.
procedure you must have been doing, right? So here you can write it as m2 x2 double dot. Okay, now again I'll shift these terms, so it will be plus k2 x2 and it will be minus k2 x1, right? And it will be plus k3 x2 is equal to 0, and we can write it as m2 x2 double dot plus k2 plus k3 x2 and minus k2 x1 is equal to 0. Now what we can do in these questions is that basically we can one way is that we substitute, firstly we know that x is basically equal to what, x sine omega t, right? So one way is that we differentiate it twice and then we write x double dot as minus omega square x sine omega t, right? We substitute this into both of these equations, okay, which I got for mass 1 and mass 2. Then after, when we put it, this sine omega t term will be common in all these three terms. So that will cancel out, that will basically go to the 0. And then what we can do, we can find the ratio x1 by x2 in some form. And from both the equations, we can find the ratio x1 and x2. And then we can equate it. And in that way, we get the like in that way we can find the natural frequency for the system. So that is one way that you must have been doing till now. Now there is one method which is basically the idea is same, but it's slightly different from that. What we can do is that we can write both of these equations in matrix notation, okay? So basically let me first write down both the equations, okay? So the equation 1 is okay, it's m1 x1 double dot plus k1 plus k2 x1 then minus k2 x2 sorry is equal to 0, and equation 2 is m2 x2 double dot, okay, then plus k2 plus k3 into x2 and minus k2 x1. All of you have gotten the same equations?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So now when we write it in a matrix form, it can be written as m1 0 0 and m2, okay, plus k1 plus k2, it will be minus k2, okay, yeah, and it will be k2 minus k2, and it will be k2 plus k3. Now this thing we are multiplying with the vector x1 and x2, okay, and it will be 0 0. Do you understand how we got this equation? See, it's simple.
Yes, ma'am.
If you write it, so you can see this k1 plus k2 into x1, it's the same term we are getting here, okay, and this will be minus k2 x2, okay, and it will be m1.
Excuse
Sorry, I
me, ma'am.
forgot to write the x1. Yeah, I forgot to write x1 and x2 double dot here, sorry. So it will be m1 0 0 m2, and it will be x1 double dot and x2 double dot, okay. So basically the we have just written these two equations, okay. Now what we can do is that we first, I think we can simplify it by substituting the values, because we have the values of m1 m2, right? I think they are all 1, all the k's and all the m's, they have been given as 1. So we can simplify this thing and we can write it as so k1 plus k2 will be 2 minus 1 and it will be 2. Okay. Yeah. Now you can see that this equation is in the form of a matrix M. Okay. I am denoting this matrix by M. Okay. And it is some vector X, right? X double dot, basically a vector. Then this matrix I can write it as matrix K, okay, because it consists the stiffness values only, and this is the vector X, and it is equal to a vector 0. Now for this sort of system, we propose a solution like we propose a solution x is equal to x sine omega t, or we can propose a solution x is equal to x naught, basically x is equal to x or sorry, x is equal to, yeah, x naught into e to the power I omega t. Okay, you can propose a solution like this for this matrix equation. Okay, now what we can figure out from here, since we have proposed that x should be like this, we will find out x double dots as we do in the case of x is equal to x is equal to x sine omega t, then we differentiate it to get x double dot. Similarly we will do here also. Okay, so when we differentiate it, it will be x double dot, so this thing will be x naught only, and e to the power I omega t, when differentiated twice, it will be I square omega square. So I square is minus 1 and it will be minus omega square e to the power I omega t. Okay, is it correct till here? Now we can substitute this thing in this equation. Okay, so you can simply write it as m, and here you can write it as x naught into omega square e to the power I omega t plus k, then instead of x you will write x naught into e to the power I omega t, and this will be 0. So now this thing will simplify to what? M into x naught into omega square, right, plus k into x naught is equal to 0. Okay. Hello, is my screen showing now?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm extremely sorry. I don't know why this was happening, but now I restarted my iPad. So okay, so I think we can start our discussion from yesterday where we left off. Okay. So yesterday's question, actually this question is related to yesterday's question. Okay, so I will just recall what we did in the last question. The question was that if k1, k2 and k3 are given as 10 Newton per meter and m1 is equal to m2 is equal to 5 kg, then find the natural frequencies of the following systems. Okay, so then as I told you that this system was similar to the system in the question number 1, and we had derived its governing equation. After that we wrote it in the matrix form like this. Okay, matrix notation, and then we put the values and found out the eigenvalues for this matrix M inverse K, right? And after finding the eigenvalues, we say that the eigenvalues are nothing but omega square. Okay, and that is how we found out the natural frequencies for this system. Okay, so you have no issue till this question, right? Now the next question, it's asking that okay, it's similar that if k1, k2, k3 is 10 and m1 is equal to m2 is equal to 5, then find the amplitude ratios. Okay, so basically you have to find the amplitude ratios of this system. Okay, so basically you have to find x1 upon x2. So how would we do that? Any idea by anyone? I'm sorry, my camera is not on. You have gone through these video, I mean you have done these questions, right? Okay, can someone tell me how do we proceed with this question? No response? Am I audible or not? Hello? Hello, do you understand the question? Okay, x1 upon x2 is equal to k2 upon k1 plus k2 minus uh, m1 omega square. So what are the values coming out to be? You can find this equation. Obviously, as I said that there are many methods of doing this question. So from directly solving the simultaneous equations, that is how you get the form of this for this. So okay, so you're getting 1 and the other value is 1 and minus 1. Yeah, that is correct. What about others? Others did it? So see, now we know that we have the eigenvalues for this system. Okay, eigenvalues basically 2 and 6. Okay, lambda 1 is equal to 2 and lambda 2 is equal to 6. Now corresponding to these eigenvalues, you have done in matrices also that we find eigenvectors, right? You know how to find an eigenvector for any particular eigenvalue. Okay, so when we find the eigenvectors for this value, eigenvectors corresponding to these two eigenvectors, okay, corresponding to 2 and corresponding to 6, when we find the eigenvectors for these two eigenvalues, we get the eigenvector, and the entries of that eigenvector we can find out as x1 and x2. So basically that x1 upon x2, that is the these are the amplitudes of our system, and then when we divide them we get the amplitude ratio. Okay, so since I have done the first part in this method, I will continue it in the second part also. Okay, so let me write it down that we found m inverse k, okay, to be equivalent to 4 minus 2 and 4. Okay, here I have already found it. Okay, so we can write it as 4 minus 2 and 4. Okay, and lambda 1 is equal to 2 and lambda 2 is equal to 6. Okay, now for lambda 1 is equal to 2, what will be the eigen vector? Do you know how to calculate eigenvectors? If yes, then quickly do it that way also, because Prashant, like you have done it in other manner. If anyone else has found the eigenvector, can he tell me what he has gotten? No one? Okay. So basically, what we do, we have this matrix, so we will write for lambda equal to 2, it will be 4 minus 2. Okay, we subtract the lambda from diagonal entries, right? Then it will be minus 2. Basically, how we find out the eigenvectors. Okay, 2 and 4 minus 2. Okay, so now our this matrix, okay, let me call this a minus lambda. Okay, basically this matrix, let me call it as a matrix. Okay, so a minus lambda into alpha 1 alpha 2. Okay, we propose this is our solution, so to find out the eigenvector. Okay, now from this we will get two equations, right? It will be 2 minus 2 minus 2 and 2 into alpha 1 alpha 2, okay, is equal to 0 comma 0. Now first equation will be twice alpha 1 minus twice alpha 2 is equal to 0, and the second equation is minus 2 alpha 1 plus 2 alpha 2 is equal to 0, okay. So it gives us alpha 1 is equal to alpha 2, and similarly from this equation also we get alpha 1 is equal to alpha 2. So what we do here is that now our eigenvector is alpha 1 alpha 2, and we know that alpha 1 is equal to alpha 2, so we will substitute any one with the other, so it will be alpha 1 into alpha 1, okay, and alpha 1 this will be like this, okay. Now here we can put alpha 1 equal to 1, okay, put alpha 1 equal to 1. So just to find out the eigenvector for this eigenvector corresponding to this value, so this will be 1 comma 1. Now this one is our x1 and this one is our x2, okay, basically the entries of the eigenvector, okay. So here it will be x1 is equal to 1 and x2 is equal to 1, therefore x1 upon x2 is equal to 1, okay. Now similarly for lambda equal to 6, okay, what we do, 4 minus 6 minus 2 and again 4 minus 6 into say beta 1 beta 2, okay. Now this thing will be minus 2 minus 2 minus 2 minus 2 into beta 1 beta 2 is equal to 0 0. Now here we again get two equations, minus 2 beta 1 minus 2 beta 2 is equal to 0 and minus 2 beta 1 minus 2 beta 2 is equal to 0. Now solving these equations we get beta 1 is equal to minus beta 2. So our eigenvector which we proposed will be say beta, let me write it beta 1 only, okay. So beta 1, and instead of beta 2 we can put minus beta 1, okay. So beta 1 will come out and it will be like this. So therefore our eigenvector will be this, and the entries of this are corresponding to x1 and x2, okay. It will be x1 and it will be x2. So x1 upon x2 in this case will be 1 upon minus 1. So it will be equal to minus 1. Understood? Did anyone else do it by the same method? Guys, am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
So did anyone do it with this method?
No, ma'am, in the different method. That is,
Sorry?
ma'am, in the other method that Prashant told earlier, in that method itself.
Okay, you have done with that method only. Okay, it's fine, whatever works for you, okay. So you can use any of the methods, whatever you find comfortable. So should we move to the next problem? Understood till here?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So another question is that we have again been given a two degree of freedom system, okay, with masses here are different, and then k1 and k2 is same, and again we have to find the ratio of the amplitudes of motion of the masses for obviously the two different modes of vibration, okay. So let me first write the question. If m1 is equal to 1.5 kg m2 is equal to 0.8 kg and k1 is equal to k2 is equal to 40 Newton per meter in the following figure. Then the ratio of amplitudes, then the ratio of amplitudes of the motion of m1 and m2 for 2 modes of vibration will be. So this is K1 spring and to it we have attached mass m1 and we have given its displacement to this side and it's K2 and it will be x2. So quickly try to solve it and tell me what you're getting. Can anyone tell how will we do it? Dalan, you say, because yesterday's class you joined late. So the session was almost over.
Ma'am, there is a formula like to calculate the modes of x1 by x2 equal to 1 minus r square by omega 4 by omega 1 square into omega 2 square, like that. So in that, if we put, we may get that.
Okay. I would not suggest just using the formula because sometimes they will give you a system in which the same formula won't work. Okay. So in that case, you should always do it from the scratch by drawing the FBD. After that, calculating omega 1, omega 2, and the corresponding amplitudes, obviously. And then you should put the values, okay? Like either you find out the governing equations, then put them in the matrix form and find the eigenvalues, or other than that you can simply solve those simultaneous equations and find the magnitude of, like when you find the magnitude of x1 upon x2 and equate them, you can get those values. Okay, so try to do it from scratch only. Don't remember formulas because you cannot remember different formula for any different system you encounter. Okay. What about
Yes,
others? Are you trying it? Prashant and Amit?
Yes, ma'am. We are first formulating the two equation by
Sorry?
drawing the free body diagram.
Sorry.
First, we will draw the free body diagram for M1 and M2,
Yeah.
and then we equate the forces, and this way we will get two equations like we have done in the previous question.
Okay, have you written the equations? Tell me what you are getting. The equations.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
The first equation is M1 x1 double dot
Uh-huh.
plus K1 x1
Yes.
equals to K2 x2 minus x1.
This is for mass M1.
Yes, ma'am.
Ah, okay. K2 into x2 minus x1, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, that is correct. And for second mass?
For the second one, it is M2 x2 double dot
Mm-hmm.
plus K2 x2 minus x1 equal to 0.
minus K2 x1
m2 x2 m2 x2 double dot plus
yeah
k2 x2 minus x1 equals to
हाँ
0, or you can put it on the right side with minus sign.
yeah ठीक है that is correct. After that what procedure are you following, the matrix form or the normally
Ma'am,
solving both equations?
normally solving by assuming that the response is in the form of x, capital X into sine omega t.
Okay. Okay, so you can quickly calculate and tell me. Okay, I'll give you 3 more minutes, then we can discuss with the solution. So everyone can do it. And whosoever gets answer, please put it in the chat box as soon as you get it. You can keep solving. Okay, till then I will also solve along. So here we assume again, say x2 is okay, omega n1 is okay. You have to then the ratio. Yeah, you have to basically find the ratio of the amplitudes. Okay, Prashant. Uh, Obviously, you have found out the omegas, but tell me what is the value of x1 upon x2. Okay, I guess, yeah, your values are correct because I have calculated omega 1 square and omega 2 square. X1 upon x2 is 0.698, yeah, and the other one, okay, Anushka, I will upload this in YouTube also. You can watch it later. No issues. And okay, x1 upon x2 for second mode will be okay. Minus 0.764. Okay, Prashant. These values are correct. What about others? Dalan and Amit, did you also get the same? You can keep doing. So here we assume that x2 is greater than x1. Okay, and obviously both the displacements are in the downward direction. Okay, it's shown in the question only. Now we draw the free body diagram for both of them. So this is my mass m1, and now it will have two forces. First will be with the spring which is above it, k1. Okay, since mass is moving in downward direction, spring force will be in upward direction, so it will be k1 into x1. Okay, the displacement of the top spring. Now for the second mass, now since that I have assumed that x2 is greater than x1, it means that the spring will be extended. Okay, and uh, thus the spring force will try to compress the spring, and the spring force will act opposite to the direction of like m1, not m1. Basically from here it will apply in the downward direction. Okay, so it will be equal to k2 into the relative displacement, which is x2 minus x1. Okay, so this is the FBD of the first body. Now when we write the equation of motion for it, it will be acceleration is x1 double dot. Okay, so it will be m1 x1 double dot is equal to the k1 is in opposite direction, so minus k1 x1 and plus k2 x2 minus x1. Okay, now it will be m1 x1 double dot my plus k1 x1. Okay, then it will be plus k2 x1 and minus k2 x2 is equal to 0. Okay, and here we can simplify it to m1 x1 double dot plus x1 into k1 plus k2, right, and minus k2 x2 is equal to 0. So this is the equation for the first body. Similarly, we draw the FBD of the second body. Okay, so for mass it will be m2 and it has only one force. Okay, that will be the spring force, and obviously it will work in this direction, k2 into x2 minus x1, right? Displacement is in this direction, or x2 double dot. So here what we write, m2 x2 double dot is equal to minus of k2 x2 minus x1. So it will be m2 x2 double dot plus k2 x2 and minus k2 x1 is equal to 0. Right, now when we have gotten these equations, again I told you that whatever you find simple, you can do it in that way. You can solve these simultaneous equations and get the value of x2 upon x1. Okay, that is very easy. Otherwise what you can do is you can use the standard procedure. Okay, I'll follow the same. So we can put these two equations in matrix form as I said. Okay, m1 0 0 and m2, okay, into x1 double dot x2 double dot. Okay, then plus let me write the vector first, it becomes easier, x1 and x2. So for x1 we have k1 plus k2 and for x2 we have minus k2 in the first equation. So it will be k1 plus k2 and it will be minus k2. Okay, in the second equation we have minus k2 for x1 and plus k2 for x2. So this is how we write, and on the right hand side we have 0. Okay, this is the equation we are getting, the governing equation. Okay, now this matrix we again call it as M, and this is the stiffness matrix, or we call it K. Now putting the values, we have M is equal to M1 is equal to 1.5, I guess, yeah, and M2 is equal to 0.8, so it will be 1.5, 0, 0 and 0.8. Okay, and for K we have, okay, it will be K is 40, so it will be 80 minus 40 minus 40 and 40, right? Now this is the M matrix and this is the K matrix. Now we've simply we don't need to find the equation again, because equation will be same every time. in this case, but when we do it in this procedure, equation will be same, only these values will change. Okay, so you can see here it came out to be k1 plus k2 minus k2, so that is how it will change. So other than that, now we can find simply m inverse k. Okay, so here it will be 1 upon 1.500, 1 upon 0.8. Okay, so that is m inverse, and here k is equal to 80 minus 40 minus 40 and 40. Right, now I have calculated this matrix already. You can also cross verify it once, because sometimes we can make mistake. So it will be 160 by 3. Okay, the multiplication of both of these matrix. This one will be 80 minus 80 by 3 minus 50 and 50. Okay, so this is basically my m inverse k. Right, now after that, what we do is that we find the eigenvalues for this matrix. Okay, so to find the eigenvalues, we write it like this. Okay, and we find the characteristic equation for this. Okay, and from there we calculate lambdas. Now obviously the characteristic equation for this, it will involve decimals, but you can obviously use an online calculator while you're doing it at home. Obviously in exams you won't be able to do that, so for this type of question I would suggest, yeah, you can go with the your method if the calculation was simpler there, because I have not tried it in that way. So I assume that in that way the calculations would have been simpler than this. So, but anyways, this is the standard procedure, so I am following this for every question. So here when we find out the eigenvalues for this matrix, it will simply be equal to lambda 1 is equal to 15.11 and lambda 2 is equal to 88.22. Okay, so lambda 1 is basically nothing but omega square, omega 1 square. Okay, it will be 15.11, and omega 2, or yeah, omega 2 square is equal to 88.22. So now for finding out the ratio of the two amplitudes, okay, in these two modes, what we do is we find the eigenvector. Okay, now eigenvector corresponding to lambda equal to 15.11, it will be equal to what? I have done it on in the online calculator, but I want you guys to try it right now. Can you do it right now? Because I showed you in the previous question how you do it. Anyone? Can you tell me the first eigenvector? See, you substitute this equation with the value of lambda. Okay, 160 by 3 minus 15.11, then minus 80, then here it will be minus 50, and it will be 50 minus 15.11. Okay, now this matrix, whatever you get, okay, you multiply it with some alpha 1 alpha 2, you assume this is your vector, and we can do it now also. Otherwise I have not calculated these values, I have got it from online calculator, so I can do it now. 160 by 3 uh, So the first value is something like 38.22. It will be minus 80, minus 50, and the last one is 34.89. Okay, so you will get these two equations. And minus 50 alpha 1 plus 34.89 alpha 2 is equal to 0. Okay, now from here you get 38.22 alpha 1 is equal to 80 alpha 2, and similarly from second equation you get 50 alpha 1 is equal to minus 34.89 alpha 2. Now you can simply say that it is you can solve these two equations and calculate the value of uh, wait a second. Now for these two equations, what you can do is, as I did in previous question also, you can put alpha 1 in the form of alpha 2 or alpha 2 in the form of alpha 1. The other one will come out common and you can put its value 1. That doesn't matter because you can put the value 1 to anything, because the eigenvector will be like the magnitude, you can take anything, but when you take the amplitude ratio it will automatically get cancelled. Like in previous question I took say for example, I'll explain it to you here. Here I took the value of alpha equal to 1, right? You could have said that, man, you can take alpha equal to 2 also. Why did you take 1? That doesn't matter. You can take any value of alpha. For when we calculate eigenvectors, we, for simplification, we take values equal to 1. If it were some fraction here, I would take that number so that I get a simple eigenvector. So that doesn't matter here because ultimately when we divide those entries, it would get cancelled. If I would have taken here 2, it would have been 2 and 2, then 2 and 2 would cancel. Again, you would get x1 by x2 equal to 1. So whatever you take this magnitude, it does not matter. The eigenvector is going to be the same. Okay, so here also when you calculate it, okay, I have done it already. So my eigenvector comes out to be 0.697 and 1. Okay, so this is the eigenvector corresponding to it. Now it will be x1 by x2 what we have to find. So it will be 0.697 upon 1. Okay, and that is how we get 0.697 or 698, whatever you get, it is the same answer. Similarly, for lambda equal to 88.222, okay, the eigenvector is coming out to be in the similar manner I have done it. So it will be minus 0.745 and 1. I would suggest you try this method also. Okay, if you're not solving with this method, for practice it can be helpful to you. Okay, so here also, now what we write, R2 or amplitude ratio for second mode, it will be x1 upon x2 is equal to minus 0.745. Okay, minus 0.745 upon 1. Understood till here? Any doubt? Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
You got it, na? Everyone? Okay. Are there any questions similar to the assignments you had done? Okay, I think values would also be same then. They don't change the assignments much from the last year. Have you submitted these assignments for week 6, week 7 and week 8? Okay. Okay, so they have, okay, graded also. Okay, okay. So what did you score, Prashant? 10 out of 10. That's really good. What about others? Okay, Amit 9. Dalan, what about you? See, getting good marks in assignments is like a must, because these will add up in your final score. So if your assignment score is good, it will really help you. I think there is some criteria of 60% you have to get to pass the uh, this course, right? Is it 60 or 70? Because I have taken a previous course of maths, that was numerical linear algebra. So some of my students mentioned that time that the assignment had a lot of weightage. I think 20 or 30%. I'm not sure. Is it the same in your case also? Okay, minimum 10 out of 25 is required. Okay, 25% in assignment. Okay. And what about the final exam? 75%. Okay, 40%. When is the final exam going to be? Okay, 40% is pass marks. 21st September. Oh, then you have less, only like almost a week remaining, right? Okay, fine. My exams are also starting from Monday, but I have to take your class also. My first paper is on Tuesday. So, anyways, all the best to you also. Thank you. So let's do another question, okay? It's also in a similar manner, okay, but now we have dampers also, okay? What is the matrix of the system as shown in figure below? Let m1 equal to m2 is equal to 2 kg and k1 equal to k2 equal to 5 Newton per meter, okay, and c1 is equal to c2 is equal to 2.8 Newton second per meter. So let me draw the system. We have a spring mass damper system here, m1, k1 and c1, and to it we have attached another spring mass and damper system. And we apply a force F2 equal to 3 cos 2t, okay, and it is x1, displaced it to this side, and it's x2 t, okay. Force is also in the same direction. So I thought this question is ambiguous because it's written what is the matrix of the system. So when you write the whole matrix, there are three matrices. One is the mass matrix, then another will be for the damper, another will be for the K. So in answers, it was showing the matrix for C. So you have to basically write the governing equation as I mentioned, then put it in matrix form, then the coefficients, not, then the matrix which is multiplied to the velocities x1 dot and x2 dot, basically the damping matrix, okay. That is the answer for this, okay. So they should have mentioned it, okay, that the coefficient matrix of the velocities or dampers They have not mentioned it, but the answer is given for that only. So can you quickly write the governing equations for this and tell me what are the equations you're getting? Are you guys solving any book also for vibrations? What book are you considering if you are using any? Okay, you're not using. What about others? Rao, I would suggest that. SS Rao, right? Yeah. So if you guys want to practice for exams, I would say that yeah, assignments and whatever you are studying in the lectures is also fine. But if you want additional problems to solve or practice before the exam, you can go to SS Rao. SS Rao is a nice book for vibrations. Okay, so you can use it. If I have this book, I will upload it in the folder, okay, where I upload the weekly these PDFs, okay, in that spreadsheet. If I have the PDF of this book, I would upload it there, so you can maybe consider going through the problems. So किसी का आंसर आया? Tell me क्या आई stiffness matrix? Okay, okay, I'll upload it. Don't worry. I'll try to find and upload it. MXC x dot KX. Okay, so tell me, you can unmute yourself and tell me what are the coefficients you're getting for this C matrix. C matrix will be like what? Wait a second. C. Okay, you have written this C matrix. It will be of this form only, but C may it will be what? What will be the entries? This is the general form only. M will be multiplied with x double dot, C will be multiplied with x dot, and K will be multiplied with x. And on the right hand side will be 0 and 3 cos 2t. But what will be this C matrix? What will be the entries equal to?
Ma'am, C matrix will be C1 plus C2 and then
Correct.
minus C2,
Uh-huh.
minus C2 and plus C2.
Yeah, that is correct. So you basically got the answer, right? I think everyone would have done it because it's simple. You just have to write the equations correctly. Okay. So do I need to draw the FBD as well, और आप लोग बना चुके हो? Then I can simply write the equations. Okay, anyways, I'll draw it quickly so that you can also cross check, and other students who can watch it on YouTube. So see, for M1 mass, now there will be 4 forces, okay, 2 from this spring and 2 from this. Again, I have assumed x2 is greater than x1, okay. Then the extension in this K2 spring will be x2 minus x1, right? Now direction क्या होगी? This x2 is in this direction. As I mentioned in previous problems also, this spring will get more extended, so the spring force will be in this direction, okay. So it will apply a force on M1 to the right side and on M2 to the left side. So the magnitude of that force will be K2 into x2 minus x1. And for similarly, in the case of damper, it will be nothing but C2 into x2 dot minus x1 dot, okay, as you know what damping force is. And here also it will be K1 x1, and the damping force from this damper C will be C1 x1 dot, right? This will be the FBD of the mass 1, okay, and it has displacement towards this side. So of 1. Now when I write the governing equation for it, it will be m1 x1 double dot, okay, is equal to what? Minus k1 x1 minus c1 x1 dot plus k2 into x2 minus x1 plus c2 into x2 dot minus x1 dot, okay. Then it will be m1 x1 double dot, okay, then plus c1 x1 dot plus k1 x1, okay, and then plus k2, not plus, sorry, it will be minus k2 x2 and plus k2 x1, then minus c2 x2 dot and plus c2 x1 dot. Please watch if I am making any mistake, okay. Sometimes the signs I forget to write it correctly, so you can check it. So here now when I simplify it, it will be m1 x1 double dot, okay, then plus x1 dot wale terms we can write together, it will be c1 plus c2 x1 dot, okay. Now for x2 dot there are no there is only one term, so let it be for now. Then for x1 I can write k1 plus k2 x1, okay, k1 plus k2 x1, and here k1 plus k2, then it will be minus c2 x2 dot and minus k2 x2, okay. This will be the governing equation for the first mass, for the first mass. And for second mass m2, what will be the equation of motion? इसमें तो it's simple, these two forces will just act in the opposite direction, okay. So it will be k2 into x2 minus x1, and it will be c2 into x2 dot minus x1 dot, okay. And यहाँ से it will be f2t, right? Yeah, so all the forces we have written, okay, it will be FBD of mass 2. Now when I write the governing equation for this, it will be what? m2 x2 double dot is equal to minus k2 x2 minus x1 minus c2 x2 dot minus x1 dot and plus f2t, okay. f2t I can keep on the right side, rest I will transfer to left hand side, so it will be m2 x2 double dot, okay, then plus c2 x2 dot minus c1, sorry, minus c2 Okay, minus C2 x1 dot, then it will be minus K2 x2 and plus, no, not minus, plus K2 x2 and, yeah, my K2 x2. Okay, it will be plus K2 x2 and minus K2 x1 is equal to F2. Okay, F2 of t. So further, can we simplify it? No. Now these two equations we can again write in the coupled form. Okay, so first I will take x1 double dot and x2 double dot. Okay, तो इसके साथ what we will multiply is the mass matrix. Now here m1 is multiplied with x1 double dot and here m2 is multiplied with x2 double dot, and we don't have any other terms for acceleration, so it will be m1 0 0 and m2. Okay, after that, for the term of velocities, see clearly, in the first equation with x1 dot we have multiplied c1 plus c2, right, and with x2 we have multiplied minus c2, so it will go as it is. Okay, so it will be c1 plus c2 and it will be minus c2. Okay, c1 plus c2 multiplied with x1 dot and c2 multiplied with x2 dot. In the second equation with x1 dot we have minus c2 and with x2 dot we have c2. Okay, and after that we can write the K matrix. Okay, K matrix multiplies with x1 and x2. Okay, and on the left hand side the force vector. So with x1 from the first equation you can see k1 plus k2 is multiplied. Okay, here with x1 k1 plus k2 and with x2 it's minus k2. So it will be k1 plus k2 and it will be minus k2. Okay, and yeah, in the second equation with x1 we have only minus k2 and with x2 we have plus k2, right? And on the right hand side we have the forces. From first equation it's 0 and the second equation gets equated to F2 of t. Okay, now in the answer we have been asked this matrix. Okay, so the matrix is C1 plus C2 minus C2 minus C2 and C2. So values were given. Yeah, so C1 C2 is 2.8. So you can write it as 2.8 plus 2.8 minus 2.8 minus 2.8 and 2.8. Okay, so it comes out to be 5.6 minus 2.8, 2.8 and minus 2.8. Okay, this is the answer. कोई डाउट है इसमें?
I mean, this question, why we have taken this excitation
Sorry,
force
Amit,
on
you're
the...
not audible. Your voice is coming very.
Yes. Ma'am, in this question, when we are framing the equation, why we have taken the excitation force on the right direction? Because it is a cosine function.
No, it is given in the figure, no? The direction of the force is given already in the question itself. We have not taken it, it was given. Okay. What is it you are asking? यही पूछ रहे थे? Hello?
Okay, ma'am.
It was given in the question. Okay, I am.
Because madam, sometime instead of showing it by right-handed arrow, in some figure it is shown by two-handed arrow. Like in your diagram, it has been shown pointing rightwards. So you have taken on the right side of the equation. I have seen some of the problem in which the excitation force has been shown by double arrows. That means it is showing leftward as well as rightward. In that case, it is difficult to decide the direction.
I think that would be the case where the force would be changing direction. ऐसे तो नहीं होगा because most of the problems we come across, force
Mhm.
has a specific direction.
Okay,
If
ma'am.
it's in the right direction, means it's in right direction only. If in maybe
Okay.
some problem it's showing changing the direction also, so that means direction of force is changing.
Ma'am, we can think in this way also. It is a cos function. So
Yeah,
it
basically I was also thinking if cos function है तो it will automatically change its direction
yeah,
also na
yeah,
after
yeah. That is my
half
point.
time interval. So yeah, that doesn't matter. It's just given in the question. Okay,
Okay,
the
ma'am.
free body diagram ऐसे ही बना के था. Not free body diagram, basically the diagram for
Yes,
this
ma'am.
question. It was shown as it is. So now we can do one last question. Okay, after that I'll end the session because more or less the questions are same only. ठीक है? Now we have been given a system and we have to find the mode shapes of the system. Okay, so find the mode shapes of the system shown in the figure below. For m1 equal to 1 kg, m2 equal to 2 kg, and k is equal to 200 Newton per meter. Okay. So the system is like this. I think it is similar to the problem in the problem 4, the diagram. Yeah, m1, m2, and it is k, and this is x2t, and its response is x1. Okay. So you have to find the mode shape of the system. So tell me quickly, what are you getting? You can take 5 minutes, or it is similar to the question number 4. So you can directly take the equation from there. No need to draw the free body diagram. Or if you want to do it from scratch, you can do. You got the answer? X1 by x2. See, in this case, you have to give the eigenvector because mode shape पूछा है, so you don't have to give x1 by x2 because in denominator also it will be of the form uh, x1 comma x1 is equal to some vector, so that vector is 1 comma 1 and yeah minus 2 comma 1, so that is fine. Okay, you don't have to give answer in this way, but you have done it correct because it's asking mode shape. So for shape you give vector. So okay, uh, I'll discuss the solution. And since I said that this is similar to the question that has been discussed at first, okay, so here the equation of motion is coming out to be m1 0 0 m2, okay, into x1 double dot x2 double dot. Okay, you can confirm if you are getting the same equation. Then it's k minus k and k into x1 x2, and on RHS obviously we don't have forces, so it is 0. Okay, now again what we do is that we find the eigen values. Okay, so I will not discuss it again, we have already found it here. Okay, let me see. I think this question, yeah. So here we found out that the eigenvalues came out to be this k into m1 plus m2 upon m1 m2, and another one was 0. Okay, so basically omega 1 square was, okay, lambda 1, this is basically the eigen value of this matrix M inverse K. Okay, so from here omega 1 square or lambda 1 is equal to 0, and omega 2 square or lambda 2 is equal to K into M1 plus M2 upon M1 M2. Okay, this is what we get the omegas for these values. Now for m inverse k, we know that m is what, 2 kg. Both the masses are, no, 1 and 2. Okay, it will be 1 0 0 and 2. This is our m. We take its inverse and we multiply it with k matrix. Okay, so k matrix is what, k is 200. Okay, so it will be 200 minus 200 minus 200 and 200. Okay, so this is m inverse k. Now as you calculate this, okay, you just have to take, it will be 1 1 and it will be 1 by 2. So multiplying this, I have already done it. It comes out to be 200 minus 100 minus 100 and 100. Okay, so it is m inverse k. Now for this m inverse k, we have lambda 1 equal to 0 and lambda 2 equal to 0. So for corresponding to lambda 1, there will be no change. Okay, we write it as m inverse k minus lambda. Okay, so it will be 200 minus 0 minus 100 minus 100 and 100 minus 0. Okay, so matrix is this. Now you find the eigen this vector. Okay, so it comes out to be 200, it will come out to be same. Okay, and multiply it with alpha 1 alpha 2 is equal to 0. Then it comes out to be 200 alpha 1 minus 100 alpha 2 is equal to 0, and then minus 100 alpha 1 plus 100 alpha 2 is equal to 0. Okay, so I have written it correctly. Yeah, so it comes out to be alpha 1 is equal to 1 by 2 alpha 2. Okay, and minus a second, alpha 1 is equal to alpha 2. Why is it coming out like this? Alpha 1 is equal to half alpha 2. Did I make a mistake? Is this matrix correct? Yeah. 200 minus 100, 100 alpha 1 is equal to 1 by 2 alpha 2, and alpha 1 is equal to alpha 2. This shouldn't be there. Wait a second, let me check for the second eigenvector first. Okay, so for lambda 2 equal to lambda 2 will be what? K is 200 into m1 plus m2, 1 plus 2, and m1 m2. It will be 2, so it will be 3 upon 200, 300 it will be. Okay, and corresponding to this, our matrix will be, I think, m inverse k minus lambda. So it will be, okay, 200 minus 300, then it will be minus 100, it will be minus 100, and it will be 100 minus 300. Okay, it's coming out to be 0. So it will be minus 100, minus 100, minus 100, and it will be minus 200. Okay, and here you will multiply it with, sorry, beta 1 and beta 2. Okay, it comes out to be, I think here also we will get the same equation, right? 100 times beta 1 minus 100 times beta 2 is equal to 0. So beta 1 is equal to minus beta 2, and minus 100 times beta 1 minus 200 beta 2 is equal to 0. So here we are getting beta 1 is equal to minus twice beta 2, right? So I'm not sure why this is coming out to be like this, because I have I solved these problems in MATLAB only. Missing Prashant, did I miss something? Hundred, 300 by 2. I have solved it on MATLAB itself. So in MATLAB, you directly give the matrix and you find out the eigenvalues and eigenvectors. So it has calculated, but I don't know why here it's coming out to be like this. Because x1 alpha 1 is coming out to be half alpha 2, and m inverse, is m inverse k correct? Did you guys check this?
I think, ma'am, that is D, value of D means M inverse multiply by K in first case. In that case, it is minus 100. Instead of minus 100, it should be minus 200.
Where? This?
Uh, M inverse K,
Huh?
200 minus 200.
It's minus 200.
I think so. Let's check it.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, please check once. Is it coming out to be same for everyone?
Madam, in the
Minus
similarly
200 means
in the second row also
In the second row, it's coming out to be what?
minus 200.
no, second row is correct, no?
Wait, let me check it because maybe I have made mistake here. Oh yeah, sorry.
One
Sorry. It's my bad. I have written correctly on paper. It's 200 minus 200 minus 100 and 100, right? So here I am making mistake. It will be 200. Okay, it will be minus 200. Similarly here also. And this, yeah. So 200, it will not be half alpha. It will come out to be it will come out to be alpha 1 is equal to alpha 2 from both the equations. So corresponding to this vector, okay, let me now rewrite it here. So corresponding to it, it will come alpha 1 equal to alpha 2 from both the equations. So you can substitute, okay. You can substitute alpha 1 instead of alpha 2. So alpha 1 will be come out, it will be 1 1, and you can put alpha equal to anything. So it will be 1 1. Okay, for simplification I put alpha equal to 1 only. And similarly for second case also, if it is going to be minus 200, right? So yeah, 200 minus 300, then minus 200 minus 100, 100 minus 300. So it will be minus 100 minus 200 minus 100 and minus 200. So the equation will be minus 100 minus 200 is equal to beta 2. So beta 1 is equal to twice minus twice beta 2. Okay, again we are getting this thing. So you can substitute beta 1, and instead of beta 2 you can substitute minus beta 1 by 2. So this beta 1 you can take common and you can write 1 and minus 1 by 2. So basically this is the mode shape. Okay, you can put value of beta 1 equal to anything. So that does not matter. This is your mode shape, and if you put 1 for simplification, you can calculate the amplitude ratios also, this divided by this. Okay. So the answer is for first case it is going to be 1 comma 1, and for the second case it is going to be 1 and minus 0.5. Okay. This is your first mode shape and this is your second mode shape. Okay. Any doubt in this question? Hello? Am I audible? Wait a second, guys. You are putting something in chat box. I'm not unable to open. MS1. Okay, mode shape 1 you can write like this, and mode shape 2 you can write like this. No, see, obviously in both the cases if I'm substituting here ना alpha, यहाँ पे आप देखो मैंने alpha 1 को alpha 2 से replace किया. So similarly you can put beta 1 here and substitute beta 2. Okay. You just should be clear कि what is the value you are putting on tops. तो अगर आप ऐसे लिखते हो, in the first case it would be amplitude of 1 and amplitude of second, but in second case you are writing amplitude of 2 and amplitude of 1. So that is not correct. If you are taking amplitude of 1 upon amplitude of 2, and here also you have to take in the similar manner, so they will not be same. Okay. Mathematically you could have substituted anything, लेकिन for the physical significance you will do it in the same way ना, और जिस हिसाब से आप ये कर रहे हो in the first case. If the top one is amplitude 1 and the second one is amplitude 2, you will do it for the second one also in the similar manner. Okay. So I think if there is no doubt, I'll end the class also. And for the week 7, I will upload a video, okay, pre-recorded maybe. I'll try to do it before Monday, but if not possible, then on Monday I'll take the last session, uh, and on after that I will upload week 7. Okay, but I'll try to do it tomorrow because I don't have my PC, so I will get it on Monday. I have given it for repair, so week 8 will be on Monday, right, as scheduled on Monday. Week 8 discussion will be on Monday only, but week 7 is missing now. Na? This is week 6 is done till now. I had planned that I'll take week 6 on Friday, week 7 on this Saturday, but due to that problem of overlapping sessions and also that my PC didn't work properly, I am taking session like this only. So is it fine if I upload week 7 after Monday, or do you need it before that? Then I'll manage something. You can unmute and tell me, or whatever. Okay. I will try if I can upload it tomorrow itself, otherwise after Monday. Okay. Anything else? Should I end the session?
Ma'am, one question is there still because the exam will be of 100 marks, no?
Uh-huh.
So how many questions will be there in exam? Because such types of questions will be very lengthy to solve.
I'm not sure.
Because in assignments, 1 point is given for one question. So if they
Similar
ask for 100,
pattern will be. Uh-huh.
means
I
100
got.
question will be there according to this point system.
No, not 100 questions. Because some of my students mentioned from the previous that yeah, there were lengthy questions, and I don't think they allow calculators as well. I'm not sure. In their exam, they did not allow calculator, but there were similar questions. MCQ type you are getting here now. There will also be MCQ type only. So hardly there will be one or two questions which can be fill in the blank. Other than that, it will be the same pattern here. But I think weightage they will increase because here it is 1 point. So if the exam is of 100 points, I don't think there will be 100 questions. Maybe they will increase the weightage to 4 points or something, and the questions would be 25 or 30, something like that. I'm not sure, but you
Ma'am,
can.
generally they are about 50 to 60 question to be solved in 3 hours. And if
Okay.
small question they give in the first section, and the big questions they give in the second or third section. So there may be sections depending upon the weightage of the questions. All question will not have the single marks.
Okay, yeah, something like that can also. You have given any exam of NEPTEL before this?
Yes, ma'am, I'm regularly appearing, and every time the pattern is different.
Yeah, somewhat it is different, but I think MCQ is always there.
MCQs are there. Sometime paper is very lengthy. Sometime you can complete in 1 hour.
Uh,
So it depends actually, because this
yeah,
paper
basically it
seems to be
depends on the
lengthy.
instructor.
Yeah, ma'am. Generally,
Yeah.
this type of paper seems to be lengthy.
Yeah, obviously because these will take time and you can expect one question at least from this because one whole week is dedicated to this thing. So obviously second degree of freedom, 2 degree of freedom say a question, so I think at least they will put or maybe more, right? But some questions will be simple also, like one word answers or fill in the blank type or theoretical. So you can save time there also. Do they allow calculators or not?
They
No,
allow
ma'am, that will be
only the
digital calculator
calculator.
provided on-screen calculator.
Sorry?
Ma'am, on-screen digital TCS and calculator will be provided for the calculation purpose.
Actually, yeah. One of my students said that earlier. Yeah, now I remember. Digital calculator is there in the computer. You are not allowed to take your computer uh, uh, this calculator. So I would suggest that you can start practicing. Okay, now since there is only 1 week, if you are appearing for the exam first time, you should practice on those online calculators. Okay, they are given in exams like GATE, etc. Also, na. So have hold of that thing, because if you are not able to use that calculator efficiently, it will waste a lot of time for you in exam. So try practicing on digital calculators then. Okay.
Ma'am, is there any method? Means, can we get the permission for scientific calculator
No, I don't think so,
for
because the rules are
such type
same
of
for
exam?
everyone. Huh?
Can we
No,
get permission?
I don't think they will allow you, because see, most of the problems, if you see, calculating the matrix inverse in calculator, you can do it very easily. So it's not allowed. They don't allow you these calculators, but try practicing. That's why I'm asking you that if you're good in solving, but digital calculators are a bit of, like, they are a bit messy to use if you're using for the first time. So that's why keep practicing on that only. Okay, you can check online that what type of calculator do NAPTEL provide in exams. Then you can maybe use that calculator. Okay, there are many apps for digital calculators, or you can use online, so that in exam your time doesn't get wasted. All right.
Okay, okay, ma'am.
Huh?
Okay, ma'am. Okay.
Okay. And I have checked that I have that book with me. I will upload it in the folder. Okay, you can take it for reference. All right, then I am ending the session. Okay, good night.
Good night.